All right, let's go over the answers to Bridges, page 264, division with fractions. And we learned how to divide a whole number by a fraction using a ratio table. So let's go over the answers using a ratio table, and then I'm going to show you a new strategy dividing a whole number or even a fraction by a fraction that you can use anytime you divide a fraction by a fraction. Um, okay, so number one, Alice is filling candy molds with chocolate for her brother's birthday party. It takes 6 minutes to fill 1/5 of the molds. How long will it take her to fill all of the molds? Complete the ratio table to show the answer. So if you had to write an equation for this, this would look like 6 divided by the fraction 1/5. And before you just knew to make a drawing and then divide it out and find it. That's kind of a long way to do it. So let's take a ratio table. So minutes over molds. So it took 6 minutes to make 1/5 of the molds. And how long is it going to take her to fill all of the molds? So let's take this fraction to 1. In order to take 1/5 to 1, remember you multiplied by that denominator. So 5 1/5 make 1. So you're going to multiply this by 5. So what you do at the bottom, you do the top, and then 6 times 5 would be 30. So your answer for number 1, 6 divided by 1/5 would be 30 minutes. Number 2. Alice is filling cupcake molds with old melted crayons to make new crayons for her brother's birthday party, or brother's party. If it takes her 9 minutes to fill 1/4 of the molds, how long will it take her to fill all of the molds? Show your thinking on a ratio table. I'm going to first write the equation. So this is going to look like 9 divided by 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and put this in a ratio table, 9 over 1/4. And we want to get 1/4 to 1. In order to get 1/4 to 1, we have to multiply it by the denominator of 4. And that would give you 1. What we do the bottom, we do the top. 9 times 4 is 36. So it's going to take her 36 minutes to make all of the molds. So 9 divided by 1/4 equals 36 minutes. The last one says, write a story problem for the expression 14 divided by 1/2 and then solve it. Remember, 14 divided by 1/2 means how many halves are in 14. So you could come up with anything that started with 14 and then divided it in halves. And if you did 14 divided by 1/2, you're going to multiply 14 by 2. So 14 divided by 1/2 would be 28. So your answer would be 28, whatever you were solving. Now, let's go back up to number 1, and we're going to learn a different strategy to divide a whole number by a fraction. Okay, so I want to show you this strategy because this is the standard way. This is the way probably your parents learned how to multiply or divide fractions. And this is the way that you're going to see in middle school. And some of you are going to find that this strategy is a lot easier and quicker than coming up with a ratio table and multiplying by the denominator. So this problem up here, you were taking 6 minutes and you were dividing it by 1/5. And so the standard way is you're going to keep your first number. So the number 6 is going to stay the same. This first number, no matter what it is, will always stay the same. Okay, so I'm going to put equals and I'm going to keep 6 the same. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You're going to take your sign, which is multiplication, and you're going to do which is division, and you're going to do the exact opposite of it. The exact opposite of division is multiplication. And then you're going to take this fraction And this is the special fraction because you're going to flip it. You're going to use the reciprocal. And I like to think of reciprocals kind of like handstands because I like gymnastics. And when you use the reciprocal, you're going to flip the top number with the bottom number. So it would look like 5/1. And so now you've got this problem 6 times 5/1, which is a whole number. So 6/1 is the same. And then 6 times 5 would be 30. And that was the same answer that you got when you just took the denominator and multiplied this by 5 and then multiplied this by 5 and you got 30. So what you're doing up here is the same thing you did down here. It just looks a little bit different. So let's go ahead and go down to number 2 and we'll try the standard way on number 2. Okay, so on number 2, Alice is making cupcake molds with old crayons. It takes her 9 minutes to fill 1/4 of the molds. How long does it take her to fill all of them? So our equation is 9 divided by 1/4. Now, no matter what this first number is, if it's a fraction or a whole number, you are always going to keep that one the same. You don't ever get to touch it. So, equals 9. Now, you're going to take the sign and you're going to do the opposite of it. So instead of divide, you're going to multiply. And then you're going to take 1/4 and you are going to find the reciprocal of it. So you're going to flip it upside down and it's going to be 4/1. 4/1 is the same as 4. Anything over 1 is a whole number. You could put this one over 1 to help you, or you could just take it away and pretend like it's not there. And then 9 times 4 is 36. So the final answer would be 36 minutes, which is the same thing that you got when you filled out the ratio table. Okay? And then down here, 14 divided by 1/2, you're going to keep 14. You're going to change to the opposite of division, which is going to be multiply. And you're going to find the reciprocal of 1/2, which is 2/1 or 2. And then 14 times 2 would be 28. So I hope that you liked this new strategy. Maybe you could give it a try. A good way that I would recommend is to try it with the ratio table and then try it the standard way so that you're practicing both. And then if you get the same answer for both of them, your answer is probably right. And if you get two different answers, go back and see which one is right and why it's right. And then maybe figure out why the one that you did was wrong. So today, your assignment is going to be Home Connections, page 137. So I want you to pause the video, and when you're finished, I want you to come back to this video, and I will go over the answers with you. So pause it now, go ahead and do your page, and then come back. Okay, so on this page, it's asking you to do a ratio table. So I'm going to fill out the ratio table, and then I'm also going to show you the standard way. Jamal can paint 1/5 of his closet in 12 minutes. How long will it take him to paint the entire closet? So first I'm going to go ahead and write an equation, 12 divided by 1/5. And then I'm going to go down here and the entire closet, so you're going to go to 1, multiply this by 5, multiply this by 5, and then 12 times 5 is 60. So your final answer is 60 minutes. I'm going to write my answer with my label up here. So in order to do the standard way, 12 stays the same no matter what. Don't touch the first number. You flip your division sign to multiply, and then you're going to do the reciprocal of 1/5. So it would be 5/1, which is a whole number. So 12 times 5 would be 60. And then go back and figure out what your label is. How long will it take him? And we're talking minutes. So 60 minutes would be our answer. Moving on to number 2. Frank can clean 1/4 of his room in 15 minutes. How long will it take Frank to clean the entire room? Show your thinking on a ratio table. Well, I'm going to show you the standard way first. So our equation is 15 divided by 1/4. Keep the first number, don't change it. Do the opposite, and then find the reciprocal. So 4 over 1 is the same as 4. And then when you multiply 15 times 4, it would be 60. How long will it take Frank to clean the entire room? 60 minutes would be your answer. So I'm going to check it on a ratio table. I'm going to put 15 over 1/4. I have to multiply 1/4 by 4 to get to 1. What I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 15 times 4 is 60. Number 3, write a story problem for the expression 15 divided by 1/3. Then solve the problem. Remember that 15 divided by 1/3 means how many thirds are in 15. So I'm just going to use the example from up here. Let's use the name Brady. Brady can clean 1/3 of his room in 15 minutes. How long will it take Brady to clean the entire room? So 15 divided by 1/3. And then you're going to keep your first number the same. You're going to use the opposite of division, which is multiply. Use the reciprocal, which would be 3. And then 15 times 3 would be 45 minutes. Let's check it using a ratio table. 15 over 3. Oh, just kidding. 15 over 1/3, because it took 1/3. Okay, here we go. 15 over 1/3. You're going to have to multiply 1/3 by 3 to get 1. And then you have to multiply 15 by 3 to get 45. So the answer is 45 minutes. Please let us know if you have any questions over this strategy. I'm curious to know which strategy you like better, the ratio table or the traditional keep, change, and flip is what we call it. So you keep the first number, you change the sign, and you flip the second number. Which one you like best? All right, have a good weekend.